over to Jürgen,
Sure.
and maybe he's going to show us how we can make things clever. Thanks, Jürgen. Jürgen's from Saimos, one of FD's video analytics vendors, and we're very excited about what Saimos is doing. And I must just mention, I'm sure Jürgen will mention as well, these guys have won the award for being the best integrated app in Milestone. So they work like you wouldn't even know it's a separate application, and that they really do make it simplistic. Thanks, Jürgen.
Yeah, thank you very much. Morning to everybody. Glad to be here and glad that I can try to make the full circle today by showing something as a demo for all the things we talked about. I just want to know short confirmation. Can you see my screen? Just as a short confirmation, and then I will go on. So nobody's complaining, so I will go on. So I'm happy to be here for Saimos today. My name is Jürgen Konechnik, and I'm the CTO for Saimos. So today, from my side, I will give you a little more of a technical show, let's say like that, not that much of marketing, but I'd like to spend a few slides just to introduce ourselves and say who we are. So Saimos is an acronym actually and stands for Situational Awareness, Infrastructure Management, and Operation Security. We are happy to be partnered with Milestone and Intel as well. You can see our badges below here. We are very proud of them. And just a little bit of an introduction. So who is Saimos? So we are headquartered in Vienna. So I'm talking to you from Vienna, Austria today. And we are having offices all over in EMEA. We are available globally and offer basically a broad analytics portfolio as one vendor. As we have situational awareness in our name, it's not just video analytics that we actually provide, but we also provide geo information systems, which would happen to be then the Saimos Control Center in its extent, which is a web GIS that brings then everything and all the sensors and all the video analytics together in a GIS system, which is then also fully integrated into the Milestone Expert system. So I'm mentioning it as well. So we're very proud of that. We're still the acting Milestone Solution Partner of the Year for the EMEA region. And we are very proud of that and being very proud to have achieved that for video analytics. But to give you an insight, why did we get this, or why do we believe we get this? Saimos Way is a professional and high performance video analytics suite, and it's fully and seamlessly integrated into Milestone Expert. What that means from a technical side is that you actually, after you have installed all the components and brought the components together, there's no need to leave Milestone Expert anymore for any configuration or for consuming content of Saimos VA, for example. We have very high performant CPU, VPU based video analytics suite. So we are not going down the road of GPU analytics, but on the other hand, we have tried to leverage the CPU as much as possible, also by partnering with Intel to make use of the Intel OpenVINO framework, which enables the CPU and latest generation Intel CPUs actually to do very efficient deep learning inference directly on the CPU without the need to go over to GPU or to another accelerator, which is actually from a technical point of view from our side, as I'm more of a technical guy, has a lot of advantages actually also for inference and also for real-time processing. We are actually built to scale, so it is possible for us to go from a fully scaled distributed environment also down to a single server environment, and as I will show today, also down to the edge, onto the AI box, and also onto security and safety things applications. So as we try to basically deliver you a very nice experience of VA configuration, we try to make the configuration as convenient as possible and as automated as possible, so that actual integrators and builders can save up to 60% of time just for project installation, and which is very valuable time, and as we all know, time is money. So all our products from installation are basically available for 30 days evaluation. So the great thing about it is you can just download and try our solution, and can basically look into that yourself and try and play around before you actually buy our solution, which is very important to us. So what do we actually offer? So you see here basically our portfolio based on video analytics, where you can see that we have server-side video analytics, where we actually work on the server, on a CPU-based server, and have our Saimos VA management server that manages all these products together, which is then integrated into Milestone Exportech. So we have LPR, we have perimeter protection, we have dynamic scrambling, which actually tries to scramble everything that moves in a stream and restreams that into your video management system for privacy. We have face analytics for face detection and recognition, 2D, 3D counting, where actually one of the 3D counting applications is Count Stereo, which can connect to a Vivotek SC8131 directly, and also add this edge-based analytics directly into our interface for counting evaluation. Then we also have LiDAR and radar integration, and of course, left and removed object detection. However, what I want to talk about today mainly is security and safety things and our edge analytics. The great thing about our edge analytics is that it can be integrated into our server-side analytics. So it's not like either edge or server-side anymore, but for us it's edge and server-side, or whatever combination you might like. And this is something I personally think gives value to every solution. So just a little thing about our architecture. So we are server-based. We can run on-premise, but we can also run basically as a private cloud application. So we are fully virtualizable. We have a server base, like a management server, and then analytic nodes. So basically our analytics can be fully distributed. You can see that here on the right side. You can have this on-premise or in cloud, and you can have your analytic nodes that actually connect to the sensors, connect also to the VMS or to external cameras or to edge SNST apps, also on-premise, from the edge, or on the cloud. But what do we offer on the edge? So our current portfolio of security and safety things app is Saimos Counting, Saimos Counting Heat Mapping, and Saimos Intrusion Detection. So basically, Saimos Counting is a standard two-dimensional AI-based counting app for counting vehicles and persons. So you can actually select the classes you'd like to count. It's a line-based counting system. Saimos Count and Heat Map actually gives the opportunity to Saimos Counting to do heat mapping as well. So it will distribute heat map information to the Saimos VA server, which you will see afterwards in the demo. And then there's Saimos Intrusion Detection, which is basically line-based intrusion detection. So if you cross a line, the class you have selected crosses the line, you will get an event. And the great thing is, this is all also completely integrated into Saimos VA, and therefore also seamlessly into Milestone Exportech. Here's a short screenshot, but I don't like to show screenshots and so on. I'd like to show basically live information, and I think seeing is believing. So I will now switch out of this presentation and show you everything live. So What you can see here is actually our Vivotek management client application, where I've connected the Saimos VA directly to Milestone Vivotek, where we have an overview of all the channels that are running. So I have actually server-side channels running on here as well as edge channels. You can see the edge channels here. So basically, it is now possible to combine the edge channels and the server-side channels together in one application. You can just select the application you want to add here, and you can see Saimos Edge here on the end of the line of this selector, where you can just add a Saimos Edge channel. And for a Saimos Edge channel, the integration actually is very easy. So I will just go to the intrusion channel here and see if it's running here. So you see I'm sitting in my office now, and this is what the connection looks like. So you can see the metadata is live brought from the SNSD camera directly into our server-side application. And the only thing you actually have to do is put in the IP and the connection port to the SNSD camera, and then select the zone that you want to actually add to the system. And within the zone, you can then have like advanced settings. You can get intrusion triggers on enter zone or leave the zone. So very easy to integrate. There is multiple possible integrations. So you can also integrate for count, where you actually have the same integration. It looks like the same here, but just the use case is a different one. So counting and heat mapping. And you can actually select for a zone here what kind of information you want to give to the server side as well. So we have brought everything together. Everything can be configured here together. But I don't want to go too much into configuration. So what does it look like, and where does the app actually, where is the app actually? So if I go to my browser here, I can show you, this is actually the Vivotek AI box here that was shown before. And you can see here the remote device management, where I have special versions. So here you can see here that I connected the camera. It actually isn't analytic capable. So it's quite an old camera I have in the office, and I just connected it to the AI box here. So I can edit. And then in the applications overview, you can see that the AI box is very powerful. So I have not only one app on the AI box, but I have 3. But I have only 2 running right now because it doesn't make sense to have the counting running twice. So I have count and heat mapping running and intrusion detection. And just to show you what the app then looks like, you can go into the intrusion app, and I can show you what this actually looks like. And you can already see these are already alarms that were coming in as I was moving around in the office. So this is the alarm view actually of the app. And if you go into configuration, you can see it's a very easy configuration interface where you have your, for example, your line here that you can actually adapt. You can add edges. You can push as many as you like, and you can make your line as complicated as you like. And the crossing of the line is actually then the factor that will create the alarm. You can give a zone a name. You can create multiple zones up here. And of course, you can select person, car, motorbike, or bicycle as a class. The selection is actually a multi-select, so you can also aggregate classes together. And you can select the confidence with which the algorithm actually should detect the object of choice. With the AI box, as it's so powerful, the hardware acceleration here is using the best possible option. However, if you want, so because the AI box has so many options, you can also actually choose what kind of accelerator you want to use on the AI box. So if you see that one app is using too much of the GPU, you can take a second app and actually say, I want to have it on the AI processor, or I want to have it on the DSP running. So actually, different apps can use different accelerators with our application. And then you see here just the broadcasting port. This is the port that actually gives information onward to Milestone, to our system, to Saimos 3A. Additionally, we are also sending this metadata to Exprotec. So now to show you what the actual result is and what you will see with these applications, I want to show you what the actual output of our system will then be. So what you can see here is what I've prepared as a first. So to show you is our search. So we can have our search running for people, because now we are sending metadata actually to Milestone. And if you have the metadata search in Milestone enabled, you will see that the system actually sees all the person detections that we have, and you can actually use this in a metadata search. Of course, we have also added our own searches for our server-side analytics, so you can use the Milestone centralized search also, for example, to search basically for faces. So you will also see, if you have our face detection and recognition installed, you will also see information of our face detection and recognition in the search, or as well for the license plate recognition, where we can search for license plate recently in the system. So our system can combine the metadata search with the SNSD app together with our searches that we have implemented for the centralized search together in one interface. So you can use the search interface of Milestone to actually walk through events and alarms. Of course, you can also use the standard alarm manager as well, where you have the possibility to look at our server-side alarms, but there will also be some alarms from the SNSD app. So you see here the live alarms from an SNSD edge camera, and also in combination with the AI box, you can see there's an alarm coming in because we connected it from the server side to our system. And of course, we can also show you the counting data and the counting output that the SNSD app produced. So you can utilize our dashboard to see actual counting, the counting that I have now set up on the SNSD. From today, of course, now the occupancy management is now 0, but you can see here that the occupancy that I was walking like into a zone, and the occupancy went up beforehand. You can use this dashboard. It's a very flexible dashboard system where you can add additional information. And also, for example, if you have the counted heat map app, you can also try to look at the heat map that the SNSD app produces. And you can see here, of course, we have a lot of heat. So let's have a different map. So we have a lot of heat here, of course, because I was sitting here all the time now for the webinar, and therefore we have a hotspot here directly in the heat map. And this was all coming from the edge applications combined with the server-side applications, and everything fully integrated into Milestone Exprotec system. So we never had to leave the Milestone Exprotec system to actually consume all the data. And I personally think this is the full circle now, and I'm very glad that I was allowed to present this to you. Thank you very much.
Jürgen, it's sorry, my mind's a bit blown how simple it is, and that you can do multiple applications on this. Just a question I have a customer, I know he would have asked this question. Could you have a situation where you have a remote site, and from a cost perspective, you want to upgrade that site to AI, but you don't want to put servers down? could you have the Milestone in a remote location in a server room and have an AI box and a camera in the field, and maybe via the internet just have alerts coming through?
Yeah, technically, I mean, technically this should be possible. I'm not too sure about the cloud interaction with the server side recording server. So this might be the better guy to answer this would be George, I guess. But yeah, Milestone is perfectly capable of running in the cloud. Our service is capable of running in the cloud. So if you have the AI box there, and if you put it there, this is a setup that is actually possible to realize.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, that's a fantastic application. I know a lot of people have control rooms, remote, smaller sites, and legacy cameras. I mean, instead of putting a PC and a whole complicated application in the field, one could just use the AI box from there. Jürgen, just one more thing. I know, and it's not maybe in line with what we're discussing today. I'm quite fascinated that Saimos does not use GPU. I mean, that saves a lot on cost and complexity because a lot of servers don't come with GPU. I believe you guys also do facial recognition. Is that purely CPU based, or I mean, would you use GPU for that application?
No, it is CPU based. I know nobody believes us on the first mention. Yes, but we use the OpenVINO framework, and what the OpenVINO framework actually does, it does the same thing as the GPU, but it just uses the processor for that. And this is one of the great things. We can do the same inference with actually quite near the same performance, because for inference, CPUs are actually also quite good. Just the training is a different thing. So yes, everything you have seen is fully CPU based. There's no GPU involved. Of course, on the SNSD cameras, as we have the GPU on there and all the accelerators, we use everything that we can get. So we can also do GPU acceleration. So we are perfectly capable of doing that. But we just, on the server side, we choose to use CPU only.
Are you saying that it's possible to run facial on the edge in the cameras from Vivotek?
Yeah, it would be possible. It would be possible. Could be on the roadmap. I'm not telling too much here. It could be on the roadmap, but of course it is possible. What we're doing, what you saw here, was full AI inference, full artificial intelligence tracking by detection.
So there's a lot of extra things that Saimos does, and we won't discuss it today. We won't have time. But I mean, we've looked at people counting analytics, where you have the 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional cameras from Vivotek at doors and in restaurants and mines and whatever that application is. And we know that works very well. Saimos integrates. And we also know, and maybe we can discuss at a later stage because we're running out of time now, but just to mention it today, I was amazed to see the Saimos integration with LiDAR and radar. So that's another application. If customers want a interface in Milestone that works well to integrate their radar or LiDAR applications, it's something else we can also chat about. But I don't know if anyone else has anything they want to contribute, or George, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we've had first-hand experience with the Saimos product here in our experience center, and literally ran the Saimos off an i5 with 8 gig of RAM perfectly, and there was no hiccup at all in our experience center. And we've just recently received the new updates with a couple of features that we will test. So we're looking forward to that. And we can vouch for the product end to end without a doubt. Likewise with the Vivotek kit. So looking forward to the future.
Okay, just to add to what George is saying, I mean, we did discuss it today and Jürgen mentioned it. If anyone would like to try Saimos, there is a 30-day, no obligation, free, load the application, test it. But if you want us to run through it with you, please make an appointment. We got it running at the Milestone Experience Center. Guys from FD and Vivotek and Milestone and Saimos are quite happy to host and actually go through that applications with you, and you can have a little touch and feel in the Experience Center as well. I'm just going to say thank you to everyone today. Sorry, Kevin, do you got anything to add? Are you good?
Yeah, well, I guess what I could add was the AI box and the camera is commercially available. So you know, we can definitely negotiate with customers. So you're more than welcome to contact Bus Distribution. And the cool thing is, once you have these things, you know, every app allows you to trial it for you know, a fixed amount of time. So you can go crazy. You can test all 40 apps and see how it works for you. And I think the whole point of this collaboration is the end user is going to drive, you know, what we actually should be focusing on, which is actually quite important for us. So we know that we're focusing on the right thing. That's going to create demand. So yeah, quite excited about that. So thank you everyone for making time. I think it was a good chat, and I learned something as well.
I just want to say thank you to everyone, and contact details. I'm available to facilitate any contact, but both Kevin, George, and Jürgen are on LinkedIn if you want to look for them. But contact me on LinkedIn or send an information reply to the webinar details that you got today. And we really do look forward to us. We have all the equipment in South Africa now. The AI boxes arrived about 2 weeks ago. Saimos, we've got the latest updates. Give us a shot, give it a try, and we're happy to POC and assist you with any design and queries you may have. Guys, thank you everyone for attending, and I'll try and also record this and upload the recordings into the LinkedIn group. Have a wonderful day.